All right, BBE family, it is another week, another lesson for you. This lesson is going to be super short and sweet, so I hope you have your notebook, I hope you have your pen, because I really want you to jot this down, take some notes, take the tips that I gave you today, and then implement them at your next family session. I almost knocked over my water. Family session season is upon us, my friends. And so you need to make sure that you have a game plan, not only just to book them up, but like what to do whenever you get on location with two really annoyed parents who got their snotty nose, aggravating kids, who didn't listen and spilled stuff in the car and have been fighting all the way there. You need to know what to do whenever they get on location, and it's like you're in charge, right? This is why I created the posing course specifically for you if you're confused about what to do, what to say, how to coach, what do I do when they get out the car, how do I start the session, how do I like entertain them throughout the whole session, what do I do, how do I get portrait poses for mom but also playful poses for the kids and for like my authentic brand, like what do I do, how do I wrap up the session, like what am I supposed to bring, how do I like deliver an amazing client experience. This is what's inside the posing course. And I talk about families, maternity, I talk about couples, I talk about seniors or brides, like posing for one. Like what do you do with one person, with no props, with one location? Like what do I do? What do I do with their hands? What do I do with their face? What do I do with their bodies? Like, I don't know. How do I make like women look the most feminine and beautiful things on the planet Earth? Like, how do I do this? How do I make sure that the dude at the session isn't completely miserable and is actually excited to do the session? This is what I teach in the posing course, and it's 50% off this month only. I'm talking about posing all month, and I'm giving you free education every single week, and you can get inside the full posing course that was once $600. You can get in for $198. Use code POSING50 to get inside the course today. You have lifetime access to it. You can watch it as many times as you want. You have unlimited access to it, and you need to get in it. Like, you need to get in it. If you get stuck on sessions and you don't have a posing playbook or plan or know what to do with bodies, you need the posing course. Okay, there it is, Posing50. Go to my website, click the posing course, and get inside, and like it'll freaking change your life. It's like definitely the fan favorite of all the courses. All right, are y'all ready to learn something today? Okay, we're gonna be talking about 5 favorite family prompts that I use almost at every single session depending upon the kiddos. You can do these things with little kiddos, older kiddos. You just might have to tweak it just a bit. So these are my 5 favorite. And if you're watching live or you're watching in the future, the replay, can you put in the little comments right here, like what is your favorite posing prompt? If you do something at your family sessions and you have one little nugget, can you comment below and let us know your favorite posing prompt, just what it is? And that way, not only can you learn from like what I'm saying, but you can learn from hopefully the hundreds of comments below of your favorite posing prompt. Okay, here we go. My 5 favorite posing prompts. Number 1, I do this one at every single session, doesn't matter the age, and it's simply the walking warm-up. We walk, they walk. This is by far, and this is the mom's by far favorite photo. Every single time, like after a session and like she posts one of the photos, it's typically the walking photo of their family holding hands and laughing at each other. So here's how I set it up. Depending on how many kids they have, ages and all that, I'm going to basically put them about 20 to 30 feet away from where I'm going to start shooting. I have them hold hands. Now, if there's a kid that's 3 or younger, I like to have mom hold them, like on a hip, okay? So she could be on the end with the baby holding them on the hip. If they refuse, let them walk, okay? So as you're gonna like hear me talk throughout the next 15 minutes, you're gonna hear like, it all depends upon what the kids want. You have to be, as a photographer, a family photographer, extremely flexible. extremely flexible, because kids are kids. And if you have a kid with special needs or autism, like there ain't no convincing them any other way of what they have in their head, of what they want to do. You have to go with the flow, okay? So put the baby, if they're 3 or younger, on mom's hip or on dad's hip, let them choose, okay? What I typically like to do is I like to take the oldest boy, or the oldest, on the opposite side of dad. This helps even out the masculinity. So y'all, I hope you have your notebook out. Write down these little tips. It will make the biggest difference, okay? If there is a like little one or a middle child, one that's like too old to be on a hip, but they're not the oldest, put them in the middle. Put them in the middle so that it balances out dad, mom, older son, baby, and then give, depending upon the kids that you have, give the oldest son the baby girl's hand, or the oldest daughter the baby girl's hand, okay? Our goal here is to balance out head heights, okay? Because when you're looking at a composition, if mom and dad are both on this side and then the kids are over here, it's unbalanced. What we want to do is try to create as much balance as possible. So having like mom and dad on the ends and then the kids staggered in the middle, that is going to provide the best looking photo compositionally. And it's not going to look weird or awkward, or like you look at the photo and you're like, something's off. I'm not quite sure what, but I don't know. I don't like it. It's because they're probably unbalanced. Okay. So whoever's on the end, whether it's dad or the oldest son or any kind of little boy, if it's a boy, have their hands in their pockets. And this goes with like my pep talk beforehand that you can learn in the posing course for sure. Have their hand in their pockets. Why? Because like dudes don't know what to do with their hands. If mom is wearing jeans, she could put like her like little fingers, like her, 4 little fingers, just like dainty in her pocket like that. If she's on the end and she's not holding a kid and she's wearing a dress, this is your time to shine. You let her swish that dress like she has never swished before, and it's going to make the most beautiful images ever. Okay, so whoever's on the end, they need to have a job with their hands, whether that's in their pocket or holding a dress. If mom doesn't have a dress or a pocket on her pants, she can easily just have it right here resting, playing with her hair or playing with a necklace. Just give her hands a job. Always. That's like my biggest hand tip of the year. Give these things a job so they don't just like flop down. That looks weird and it's uncomfortable for them. Okay, so walking warm up. Have them set up. Their hands have a job. Everyone's situated. Here's the game-changing piece of information. As they are slowly walking to you and you're coaching them, and now we're walking and we're walking and we love each other and we're walking. You're giving them a commentary of their walking, okay? You're coaching them. That's called coaching. They need you to do this. As they're walking, you are going to remind them to keep smiling and giggling at each other. Do not look at the camera. Walking and smiling at the camera is the weirdest pictures ever, okay? It's just weird, it's awkward. But having them giggling at each other, and I coach them into doing this before we start. I just quickly say, I'm like, okay, forget that I'm here. I'm gonna be about 20 feet that way. Just forget that I'm here. I'm gonna coach you throughout the whole thing, but just forget that I'm here. Don't look at me. Y'all just laugh at each other, look at each other, smile at each other, left and right, laughing at each other. Okay, so the kids are doing this. The kids are looking up at mom and daddy. Mom and dad are looking at each other, looking down at the kids. And then I say, all right, mom and dad, y'all look at each other. Y'all look at each other. Mom and dad's looking at each other, laughing at each other. And those are my photos that are my favorite. When mom and dad are looking at each other like, we did it. How did we get here? We made it to our family session. And the kiddos are looking up at mom and dad. Like that is the sweetest looking picture. And it's all coached by you. So you have to tell them what to do. You have to tell them where to look at each other, because if you don't tell mom and dad to look at each other, if you don't coach them into that, they're gonna look down at one kid the whole time. And you're gonna get hair in mom's face the whole time. But if she's looking at her husband and she's smiling at her husband, that's the shot that you want. You want to capture their eyes looking at each other like, we did it. We did it. We got our kids out of the house, dressed, and we're here. That's the photo that you want to capture, them looking at each other, loving each other, and the kids looking up at mom and dad. Okay, so simple walking warm up. This is what I start every session with, and it's my favorite pictures. Okay, moving on. Number 2, dance party. I started doing dance party whenever I had my family pictures taken. So if you've been following our story at all in the last couple years, we have a son who has autism. And around the time that he was diagnosed at 3. Around that time he was diagnosed with autism, we had family pictures scheduled. Like 2 days after we got the diagnosis. We were crushed by this diagnosis. Like, I'm smiling as I'm talking to you now because like we have come so far. But during that season, we were destroyed as parents. If you have had any diagnosis for your children, you know that feeling of hopelessness and fear and confusion. And that's the season that we were in. He, at the time, was not able to be controlled. You could not tell him to sit still. You could not tell him to smile at the camera, say cheese. Like, that was not in Joe's cards. That was not, no. But one thing that he did like to do, he liked to dance and he liked to run. And so at my family session, I was trying to help our photographer figure out ways to get Joe to just stay next to us so that we can capture our family. And I'm like, oh, I have an idea. Let's have a dance party, Joe. Let's have a dance party. We're going to dance with mommy. And so I held his hand. I held Thomas's hand. We all held hands together and we just started dancing. And our photographer, who was Naomi Duncan, just captured and she just snapped as many photos as she could. And y'all, the pictures came out so cute because everybody was doing their own weird interpretation of what dancing looks like. And it's one of my favorite pictures ever. And so after that, I realized that like, not just kids with autism have a hard time standing still, smiling at the camera, just children in general have a hard time like being still and smiling at the camera. And so then I started implementing the dance party. And you can ask them if the kids have a favorite song, like Baby Shark or, you know, Paw Patrol, you know, whatever it is their favorite song is, and just sing it. If you're a mom, you know all of them, or play it on your phone and just let them have a 30-second dance party where they're just being silly and dancing. I'll post the photo of ours here in just a minute once the video is over. But just a simple dance party. You don't have to give them specific directions other than like, hey, do y'all like to dance? Y'all want to do a dance party? And then just go with it and snap whatever happens. That's the beauty of posing prompts, is that you give them an activity to do and you capture their family. This isn't like, oh, I'm going to make sure my families are perfect so I can end up on like Perfect Family Magazine. Your job as the photographer is to capture their season of life and whatever they're in. And I'll never forget that season of life that we were in where Joe would not sit still. I remember our dance party and how even though we were like in the midst of hell, like we were able to capture a moment of happiness, a moment of joy, and a moment of like blessing just by dancing. So simple prompt, but like deep, meaningful background behind it. And I hope you can use it in your next family session. Okay, the next prompt that you guys can use is very simple. All these are super simple. It's called a tickle fight. So what you're gonna do, they can be standing, sitting, kneeling, holding the kids. If you're in our mini session posing system course, you know my posing system. They can be in any of those foundational poses. And then you just give them the prompt, okay, now we're gonna tickle daddy, we're tickling daddy. Now we're gonna tickle mommy, we're tickling mommy. Now we're gonna tickle Johnny, we're tickling Johnny. And while each individual family member is getting tickled, everyone's looking at that one family member and that one family member is laughing and everyone else is tickling. Or you could say, okay, now everybody tickle each other, we're tickling each other. And your job is to move your feet and snap the crap out of that camera. Move your feet and capture the moments, the laughter, whatever's going on. And at the end, you can say, okay, and while the kids are probably like acting crazy, get mom and dad's attention and say, okay, I'm gonna have y'all just looking at each other, laughing at each other, tickling the kids. Don't miss this one. If you've listened to nothing else, do this one. Write this down. Have mom and dad look at each other. You just simply coach them like, hey, I'm gonna have you tickle the kids, but y'all look at each other laughing. So mom and dad are looking at each other laughing and they're tickling the kids. And what are the kids doing? Going crazy, laughing wherever their arms fly. They're laughing everywhere while mom and dad are looking at each other. Again, it's a moment that you're capturing. Mom and dad have their children here. They made it. They probably fought in the car. They fought getting their outfits together, and they're here. But them laughing at each other, looking at each other, even if they never admit it, they're going to have a moment where they remember why they love each other and why they bringing their kids to do this. Just for a moment. They're going to remember why they love each other and remember why they did family photos with you in the first place. And remember, you guys, if you can make your clients feel something at their session, if you can make your clients connected with each other at your session, if you can be the orchestrator of them maybe having a mending conversation later that day about how much they had fun at their family session, you're not just a photographer. Like, you're here to change their lives. Right? Like, you're here to be fulfilled with your passion. And it's not just throwing out a bunch of posing prompts. It's, how can I make this family closer together? How can I make this moment a moment instead of just something for my portfolio? Is this making sense at all to anyone watching? Like, let me know. Hit some hearts, hit some comments, ask some questions if you are alive and watching and like this is resonating with you. You showed up to get like some quick tips, some quick hacks to do at your next session. But I'm here to tell you that like you're just so much more than somebody snapping photos. A monkey can do this. My 7-year-old kids can snap photos. But like your job is so much deeper than just snapping photos. You're here to love people and to serve people and to change their life. That's ultimately why, like, what you want deep down. So again, this posing prop, the tickle fight, you're doing this, but let mom and dad look at each other, laugh at each other, make eye contact with each other, because they probably haven't done that in 2 weeks because they've been pissed and passive aggressive and they don't feel like being married and they're just going through the motions and they're just doing their thing as business partners in this thing called family. All right, give them a moment, have them tickle their kids and document that. All right, moving on. Number 4 is called the dog pile. The dog pile is not what it would sound like. This is just how I remember my poses. I name them all. If you're in the posing course, you know this. So what this is I have mom and dad sitting. So they're in the seated pose that I talk about in the posing course, where dad is seated with his leg out, mom is like right next to him. So they're super close together, seated. The dog pile is strategically placing the children around on top of their parents. So again, depending upon how many children they have is going to be depending on where you put them. But you can put your children around the back of dad, around the back of mom, kind of like hugging on the back. You can put a kid on dad's shoulders, or mom's, I guess, but probably more like, you know, appropriate for dad's shoulders. You can have a kid in a lap or 2 laps. You can have a kid on a hip. So the goal here is to have mom and dad sitting, again, looking at each other, loving each other, and you're gonna have the kids just dog pile around them. You can have them do this depending on your style here. You can have them kind of sneak attack them and just pile on top of them haphazardly, or you can strategically place them like, hey, I'm gonna have you like hang on dad's back. Good, stay right there. I'm gonna place like brother and sister somewhere else. Okay, I'm gonna have you, mom, can you just like hold the baby on your hip right here? Okay, I'm gonna have you sit on mommy's lap. So good. Okay, now I'm gonna have you on daddy's shoulder. Just strategically place them wherever. And then what they'll do here is laugh together, smile together, play together, giggle together. You could do another tickle fight, but this is just another version of that, as it's called the dog pile, where I strategically place them. Okay, the last posing prompt that I have for you guys, again, it's to evoke emotion. It's to capture authenticity. It's to capture the love of a parent and a child. It's just running to mom and dad. So, and again, I'll post some pictures of these later after the video. But all I'm gonna have you do is coach the mom into kind of like squatting down, or dad squatting down, and you're gonna tell one of the kids, all right, we're gonna come over here, and what I want you to do is I want you to run to mommy and daddy, or run to mommy, and I want you to give them the biggest, tightest hug ever, and then give them some kisses. And so this is like one of the kids' favorite things to do, because they get to attack mommy. So they run up to mommy, mommy's like squatting down, they do a big bear hug, and mom typically either laughs hysterically, holds them tightly. The kid holds them tightly, will give them like kisses on the cheek. And the point of this is to capture that moment between them two, whether it's going to be funny, where they tackle, whether it's going to be like more sweeter and emotional, whether it's going to be tears, like you're capturing a moment. And that's what you're doing when you're a family photographer. You're capturing moments and you're sparking emotions between husband and wife, father and daughter, mother and son, and everything in between. It's super simple, you guys. You just coach them into it. They can't mess up. Like, this isn't like perfection. You're capturing moments. And if it's not exactly what you were hoping, have them try it again. Just have them try it again. Maybe with a different parent, maybe with a different kid. But you guys, like, these are super, super simple posing prompts that you can do to make each and every session exactly the same, but completely different, because you're capturing that specific family. Like, I see all the time where it's like, I'm running out of poses, I'm running out of ideas. Stop trying to reinvent the wheel here and start focusing on the people. Start focusing on being able to be someone who can come into this family and make a difference, even if it's for 20 minutes. Maybe that 20 minutes of you coaching mom and dad looking at each other can spark a conversation later on, right? Like, that is your goal here. That's your goal. You're not here snapping photos. Literally anybody can do that. You're here to love on people and serve people and change their life. So I hope this was helpful for you. This is, y'all, like a teeny, teeny, tiny taste of what the posing course can give you. We have about a week left for it to be 50% off. The posing course will not be on sale for a long time after this. So if you're excited to learn more about maternity, couples, families, seniors, brides, hop into the posing course. It's A to Z. I teach you everything, how to create systems, how to have portrait poses that they are proud of, that they can frame, as well as playful poses to make sure that you are capturing people over poses. So hope this was helpful for you guys. Y'all comment here, and if you have any posing prompts that you love for your sessions, or that you have tried and it has like gone really, really good, put them down here below so that everyone who's watching can read the comments and learn a lot more and take some more notes. I will not be here live next week because I will be at our photography retreat for our Academy members. And so if you're on Instagram, y'all go follow me there so you can watch all the behind the scenes to see if you want to come to our photography retreat next time. But I will have a video for you guys, another posing video for you guys to watch, so you can learn something. It'll be straight from the posing course. You can get another little taste of the posing course. And that'll, you know, maybe help you decide if you want it or not, or if you need it or not. So I hope this was helpful. You guys have a fantastic week, and I will see you next time.